is it okay? Because it's not good to go beyond those limits of my that I can handle, you know.
Yeah.
And so learning to say no when it's appropriate is very important.
Yes, that's something I would say I probably share with clients on a weekly basis, is just boundary setting, and really tuning in, like just so subtle, like those ways that you read your body. You a question and you get a that's a no. Like, yes, you just need to really own it and go, yep, that's a no. And then when you get that woohoo, that's a yes.
Yes.
And if it's kind of neutral, it's like, let me feel that out. That's a kind of like, I'm not, I'm kind of neutral on it. But really, our bodies do give us an instant response to questions. And if we just can honor that truthfully, we're going to have such a more enjoyable, authentic life. And I feel like it's beautiful because your journey, you explained about an abuse that happened. And I feel like, so many of us and the people that we look up to in life that are often warriors of light, I call them, have been abused, and they've gone through a lot of darkness, and it's what cultivated that power and that strength, that intuition, that discernment. It's like it created the warrior in us, because it was kind of like the new Star Wars, like evolve or die. Like, you're going to either learn that you have Jedi powers or you're not. But it wasn't we took a workshop and we just like, I want to, just be a healer. It was, we learned this, and I feel like it's so beautiful that you're showing that journey is there, because I think that helps people to not put us on a pedestal, but to really see that we're right there with them. We're just, we're maybe more wise than we used to be, but we're not better than them, and we don't want to even be put there because it creates separation.
Exactly. And I love what you're saying, because the body, and this is one of my things I see in my practice that's so interesting. A lot of times, especially, I don't know, in the last few years, because of the way our society is, it seems like people almost, when something happens with the body, there's a feeling or a sense that the body's doing something to them. Like, what's my body doing? Why? I didn't do anything.
Why does my body like me?
Right. As if they're a victim of their body. But actually, the body is trying to get your attention. And the body has that wisdom within. And I do believe it is intuition. Intuition being, I define it as the bridge between the all-knowing soul and the ego. And just what you're saying is so true. The intuition is speaking all the time, and through the body, and those slight reactions. Even there's an intuitive exercise to make a decision between things that you write the choices. Like, let's say you're trying to choose a lawyer or a bank, something serious like that. You put the names of them on different pieces of paper and fold it up so you can't see it. And then you have a list of questions that are important for that decision. And then you just take one of the pieces of paper and hold it and ask those questions, and your body will respond. You might get a headache, you might get hungry, you might have a twitch here or there, your heart might hurt, your gut, but it's purely the body. Your mind is blindfolded because the paper is folded. You can't see the name. And then you make responses of your body. So to get the intellect out of the way and purely learn to listen to the body, just like you're saying, how it's saying no or yes instantly. If you have to sit and think about it, that was a no. You're just trying to make it okay.
Yeah, I love that. It's so, like, I feel like it's so important because, spiritually, I'm always sharing how we're evolving as humans, and on this planet we're evolving and we're changing. And I feel like a big part of what's changing is we are coming back to this very natural state that's always been available to us, and that is our intuition. And it's honoring, just reading those signals and looking for the signs within and without. But so many of us have become so disconnected in a society that's taught us to ignore what we feel, because we're easy to control if we ignore what we feel, and in a sense, that is a deep level that I feel like is a collective abuse. Like, if we look at the individual abuse on the, the micro, and then the macro is collectively, we also feel like we're told what to do and we're pushed around and we have no say. And this is what I feel like so many of us that are here to evolve that and to transcend that, because we're really here to be divine and to really have amazing, lives where we feel fulfilled and where we honor what is right for us, what feels good. And that's why I love, like, your book. So much of my heart is here to help humans understand how to love and to teach them the importance of love. And it's all starting with self-love.
Yes.
And, people can go, oh, yeah, self-love. Yeah, no problem. I got my nails done. I got my hair done. I go to the gym. No, it's not. It's not about, like, the superficial, what we look like. It's like, what do we feel like? Like, what do we feel? That shit matters,
Yeah, well, that is the key, and when I try to help people or facilitate them becoming aware of their body and what their body's saying, the key is what it feels like, even if people have a pain, I have low back pain, I'm a chiropractor. People come with low back pain, but it's, how does it feel to you? Does it pinch? Does it pulse? Does it stab? Is it like getting stomped? Whatever, and help them describe it. And when they describe the physical sensation, and then perhaps go a step farther in, is there a color? Is there a shape? Is there a memory? Is there an emotion? And when they can listen on that depth, it takes them out of the figuring out, because so many people want to figure out. It's a very
analyze it.
Analyzing. That's the beta brain wave, figuring things out. But it's about experiencing it. And when you experience, we do get into at least the alpha state, which is deeper, is a more daydreamy. And that's when you can have the epiphany, or it's like, oh my gosh, yes, that person's been stepping on me. No wonder I feel like my neck's getting stepped on. And
that's every second.
When you get it, the body many times will immediately release simple things, simple things that aren't from an accident or something. But even if it is more complicated, like an accident or a fall or a disease or something, it will heal faster and more completely if you get the message of what it feels like to you, or that emotion that's encased there. Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it frustration? And if you learn to listen, it's a miracle. It's magic.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because as an intuitive healer, I have seen so many miracles, and the more that this becomes my normal life, it's always amazing. I feel like every session is unique and beautiful, but the more I realize miracles are normal, and that it's just really allowing ourselves to feel and to be open and receptive. And when we do, just like you're saying, I'll have clients with injuries they've had their whole life that they're very attached to. They're like, this is my injury. This is my stuff, my story.
Yes.
And as we just guide them in more, like, my approach is more of a shamanic approach of taking them, which is why I loved your book, because I feel like you are a modern day shaman. As much as you're, been a doctor in the medical world, there's that shamanic part of you I can see and feel. And I honor that in you. And I just feel like there's so much that we're learning, that as we just allow ourselves to tune in and feel, and not to judge it, not even try to figure it out, but just really, like you said, experience it and be with it. That's when my clients have breakthrough healings. They have amazing shifts. They have, like the aha light bulb goes off. The leg instantly is healed in a session, and they're like, what happened? And I'm like, don't overanalyze it. Just be grateful. It's cleared. You know what I mean? Like, it's clear. We're happy.
I have actually even felt, disc injuries can be very difficult. And the disc, it can last weeks with people, icing and not moving and, all this stuff. Sit 45 minutes, walk for 10 minutes. There's so many rules. But if the person is willing to go into the experience in the moment and feel what it feels like, realize what it's telling them about their life right now, and have that breakthrough. I have felt the disc immediately heal and go back the substance sucked back into its place in an instant, have the person get up and walk without pain. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. Well, and so much of, like, I'm sure you're discovering, because this is in my journey, what I've discovered so powerfully is that, for a long time, I was just looking at the world very physically, and it's just this physical world, and this is my story, and this is my limitation. All these things were taught to me. And I feel like as we're awakening individually and collectively, we're really realizing that we're very much in an energetic experience, and that the energy and the energetics play such a huge and profound part in our movie,
Yes.
like the movie of choice, and how much whatever's going on in this movie, like when I help clients with their past life regressions, which I feel is past, present, future when I'm really honest about that, because it's all now. But
Yes.
when we're tuning in to what they've been through, like in your childhood, what you went through and what I went through, how much that plays a part in our now, like whether we're 20, 30, 60. And if we haven't cleared those energetics, or what I call cellular memories, they'll keep playing out like an old record, and it'll keep coming around. And like you're saying, the body's always talking to us. And I love often referring to our bodies like a child. And I loved how in your book you said that. It was so much that you say that's like what I say. It's so beautiful. But it's just like, if the child is crying, we can ignore the baby. We can go, shut the door. We could put a bunch of pillows in front of the door. We could leave the house. Like, it's like, that's what I feel like we're taught in society is, when the body's crying, we just put some drugs in there, we numb it, we give it some alcohol, maybe a little marijuana, maybe we go get really busy, we get more attention, we need more, certificates, whatever the more is.
Right.
And really all that is it's like, if you had a baby crying, you're just leaving the house and you're getting further and further away. But that baby is going to keep crying. And I feel like what you discovered as a chiropractor, in the beginning, it's a subtle cry, and then it gets louder and it's like screaming. And if we just could tune in now, which what I love about your book and why I want to promote you so much is because I feel like all of us as healers that are really here helping humans understand that right now is when you want to deal with it. It's going to save you pain. It's going to help the baby stop crying.
Exactly.
So the baby feels loved and safe again. And that's going to change everything. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's so true that the body is so simple and direct, and our society completely is about, if you didn't digest well, take this, or if you don't sleep, take this pill. Instead of saying, well, maybe, those symptoms, those problems are because your body's trying to share some wisdom with you, something about your life that's upsetting and you're not digesting, if you will.
Yeah.
And we need to listen, not, I use that analogy of if the house is on fire and you're asleep and somebody came banging on the door, you wouldn't tell them to get out. You would say, yes, thank you for telling me there's a fire. And I get out.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. Exactly.
And the body is trying all the time to give us these messages, and it's important for each person to learn how to listen in a way, because since we're all so unique, it usually comes through one of the type of senses of feeling, taste, touch, smell, voice, words, and there's different combinations of that. So really learning how does your intuition, them discovering that. So it's the tool that it never gets old. I mean, that's you, every time you use it, you get better and better at it, and
Absolutely.
You learn more and more. And sometimes people say, well, I'm not intuitive. That's like you were saying, they'll say, well, that's you, Tanya. That's you, Tony. I'm not intuitive. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're all intuitive. We all have a soul. The soul wants to express. we all have it. We just, maybe you and I have practiced a little more because we were encouraged to through our childhood experiences. We were encouraged to listen. And
yeah, and many people just, they kind of suppress